Here we are at the impressive McLaren Technology Centre for the launch of the team's new challenger for 2023. The MCL60 is a change in their recent naming convention to reflect the fact that this year marks 60 years since the legendary Bruce McLaren founded the team. It just shows you the heritage and history behind the McLaren name and reminds us that they're still second only to Ferrari when it comes to championship wins. Despite slipping down the order in recent years, the team were aiming to be back at the front, but last year the hopes for a P4 finish were narrowly pipped by Alpine. The French team may have got the better of them on track, but McLaren emerged victorious off it in the battle for hot property driver Oscar Piastri. McLaren found themselves in a very public tug-of-war with Alpine for the Australian, with both teams claiming the rights to his services for 2023 and beyond. Eventually, the Contract Recognition Board had to step in and ruled in favour of McLaren, so Oscar is in papaya this year. He replaced his fellow Australian Daniel Ricciardo, who left a year earlier than planned after a difficult spell with the team. Yes, he raced to that amazing win at Monza back in 2021, which was McLaren's first victory for almost 10 years, but otherwise it was a pretty troubled time. So Oscar takes his place, and after such a public fight for him last summer, there is a lot of pressure on his shoulders. So has he got the speed and the mentality to cope with the white-hot pressure cooker that is Formula One? Well, he's done everything he needs to so far, and his junior record is second to none. When he won the F2 Championship in 2021, he joined Charles Leclerc and George Russell in an elite and exclusive group of drivers who won the F3 and then the F2 titles in successive seasons. But he'll be up against one of the toughest benchmarks in Formula One on the other side of the garage at McLaren. Like Oscar, Lando Norris was one of the most highly rated young drivers when he came up through the ranks, winning the F3 title and finishing as runner-up in F2. Since graduating to F1 back in 2019, he's only furthered his reputation as a super fast driver, with a brilliant podium in his second season and a pole in Russia, which could have been his maiden victory too. Plenty of other teams in the pit lane, including Red Bull, were interested in Lando, but on the eve of last season, he signed a new long-term contract with McLaren, which will keep him with the team until the end of 2025. He wants to win, but he wants to do it with McLaren, and he's banking on them delivering the car to help him get there. It would be something of a surprise if they manage to do that this season, but if they do, he'll be ready to make the most of it. And it's not only with the driver lineup that McLaren have made changes over the winter. Team principal Andreas Seidel has left Woking to become CEO at Sauber. The German was widely praised for his job in getting McLaren back on track in the last few seasons, so losing him must be seen as a blow. Meanwhile, McLaren CEO Zak Brown has decided to promote from within, with racing director Andrea Stella given the task of continuing Seidel's work and helping the team get back to the top. It's Stella's first time in the team principal role, but he has a lot of experience and worked at Ferrari for many years with Michael Schumacher, so he knows what it takes to win. And he'll be helped by McLaren's new simulator and wind tunnel. The wind tunnel is set to be ready later this year, so won't have any impact on the MCL60, but will help the team when it comes to designing next year's car. So a rookie driver in the cockpit and a new man at the helm. Both Oscar and Andrea will have to prove they can step up a level this year and help the team push on. Zak Brown, of course, wants to bring the glory days back to McLaren and get them fighting for championships once again. That's probably too big of a leap for this year, but beating Alpine and closing the gap to the top three would surely be a success. Especially if at the same time, Oscar can prove McLaren are right to fight so hard to get him in a race seat.